What's going on, guys? Today we're working on the old Exciter 440 and we're going to pull the motor out of this thing and completely tear it down to the crank because we're putting crank seals in this thing and we're going to change every other seal in the engine at the same time. So just a quick recap if you haven't seen the first video. Bought this Exciter 440. It hadn't ran since 1999, so it's been many years. Did some basic things to it: fuel lines, oil lines, clean the carbs, check compression. It was good. The skis were bad. We put skis on it. Got it running and driving, but it was inconsistent. Sometimes it would run good, other times it wouldn't. Most of the time it'll just idle up uncontrollably like it's sucking air from somewhere. Probably the crank seals, I'm thinking. Check basic stuff like carb boots and other easy leaks. Nothing leaking that I can see. So we're going to do the crank seals on this thing today, and which involves pulling this motor out, which isn't too complicated on these old sleds actually. So I'll have to disconnect some oil lines and disconnect the harness, and then we'll get this thing on the bench over there. Got it all nice and cleaned off, and we'll tear it into this thing and we'll see if we can find anything obvious. Sometimes with the crank seals it's not obvious if it was bad or not, and sometimes it is, but regardless, the thing's 40 some years old now, going by my math. It probably needs them anyway. So let's get the motor out and get it on this bench and let's tear it. Okay, very simple. 4 motor mounts unbolted, disconnected the oil lines, disconnected the carb, pulled the airbox out already, and disconnected the hood cable. Hood's being held up by a broom. Let's hope that doesn't fall. Okay, so let's yank this thing out and get her out of here. Got her. Okay, motor's on the bench, so I'm going to start picking away at this thing. Very simple. Yank the recoil off, take the intake off, start pulling engine covers off. I guess I'll resume this video once I get the accessory stuff off. Actually, first I got to try and get this clutch off, and I have a Yamaha puller and it doesn't work. So I'm going to try the water trick where you flip the engine on its side so the clutch is facing up, you fill the clutch with water and put the factory clutch bolt back in. I've never done this. I don't have much faith, but I'm going to do that before I start disassembling anything, and we'll see if it works or not. Okay, we've made some progress. Got the clutch off, took a couple parts off here. Got this recoil cover off, the intake off with the reeds. Have to check those still. That off, primary off. So now we're working on the next slightly sketchy part, pulling the flywheel. This can sometimes be a little sketchy. So got my harmonic balancer puller on it. We're going to give this a crank, and hopefully she pops in a good way. Okay. All right, let's see what happens here, and I got to try and stop this from spinning as well. Oh, that wasn't bad at all. I've had these be a lot worse. Quick tip, because I've done this before and messed up stators in the past. When you're pulling a flywheel with these harmonic balancer pullers, these bolts that you thread in, sometimes it'll actually thread all the way through the flywheel and protrude out the backside, depending how far you thread them. So you want to watch, because what I've done in the past is those bolts will be threaded through. Let me pull this off here and I'll show you. Come on. There we go. These bolts can actually stick through the backside of the flywheel. This is a bad example because this is a deep flywheel. But I've had them before on T-cats where they stick through, and if you let the motor spin because you're not holding it while you're cranking it, these bolts that are sticking out the back will actually hit your stator and destroy your stator. So be careful when you're pulling the flywheel. Don't let this thing spin. Make sure it's locked in place. Well, this actually makes me feel a little better. Look at that. We've got some evidence of some seepage. See how that's wet all around the seal? Well, it shouldn't be. And it kind of looks like the edge of the seal is all damaged too. You see that? Unless that's just grease. Huh. Regardless, not good that's weeping. All right, so we got all the accessories off, recoil off, oil pump housing, got the Y pipe off. Now I'm going to tear the heads off. I just want to show you the crank seal on this side. This one's not looking too great either, to be honest. So probably a good thing we did this. Anyways, let me get this thing apart. Next time you see it, it'll be fully split. And we're gonna have to clean the cases up too, because they're very dirty. And I don't have a parts washer. That's something I need to invest in. I've been putting parts in this little bucket I have with a cleaner and a brush, and you know, doing it that way. She's apart, and one thing I noticed, look at that, must have sat for a while. Build up a little rust spot there like that. Could be something to do with crank seal as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm going to pull the crank out of this bottom case, and I got some cleaning to do. I'm not going to record any of that because that's not stuff you guys want to see. But I got to clean all these cases up, all the gasket surfaces, like all these reed gaskets and stuff are going to have to get cleaned. The oil pump gasket against this housing is going to have to get cleaned. So I'm going to spend probably more time cleaning than it just took me to take this apart. But when that's all done, I'll have it all out on the bench clean, and we'll continue from there. All right, bit of a mess here, but everything's cleaned up. It did take longer than it took to do the whole motor. It's starting to get dark outside now. And one last thing before I shut her down for the night, I decided to pull the cover out the primary just to see inside. And good thing I did. There's like acorns and stuff here. It looks like some squirrel or a chipmunk made a nest in here. I don't even know how. Like, it's a sealed well, I guess the face of it's open. I'm cleaning the face of it now. I think I'm going to dump that whole clutch in there too, just to get rid of some of this dirt. But yeah, good thing I took a look at this, because it's dirty in here. Definitely needs a clean. Okay, I'm shutting her down for the night. Clutch went through it all, cleaned a bunch of stuff. Used some Scotch-Brite pad on some of the shafts to get rid of the any burrs or any stuff that they could get hung up on when you're trying to actuate it, like so. Moves freely now, so that's good. I'm shutting her down for tonight. Let's hope that our gasket kit comes in tomorrow, because I want to drive this thing the next day. But let's see if that gasket kit comes in tomorrow.
The next day.
Well, it's the next day, and look what came in. Whew, might actually be able to get this thing done by today there. There's a chance. There's a chance. I don't think there's going to be a chance to redo the rear skid like I wanted to, because the sliders are shot completely. But we might just have to drive it with a fully shot rear skid. I don't know. It is what it is. So let's let me start picking away at this. I gotta rush this. I'm gonna do the bottom end cases with Permatex Moto Seal. I don't know what you guys use. I know a lot of guys use 3-bond and Yamaha bond. That's very good stuff too. I've used this, had good luck, so it's easy for me to get locally, so I just buy that. But let's get this crank in the cases here and get the cases sealed up. Okay, new crank seals are on and they fit good. One thing I'm gonna mention too before I drop it in this case, I'm gonna Moto Seal the case halves obviously, but I also put a little bit on the lip. You see the lip of the crank seals? There's a lip there, the lip on this one. That sits in these grooves on your case halves. I always put a bit of the Moto Seal on this too. Not a lot, just a tiny little skim of it all around the seal. I feel like it helps seal it better in the case. All right, crank's in. It's pinned in multiple spots. I guess I should have shown it, but there's divots like this on the other end of the case that these pins on the bearings have to fall into, otherwise your crank won't sit properly in the case. So you want to go over all the bearings and make sure that they're locked in. See how I can't move it? It's because the pin on the other side of the bearing is in this divot. So it can't move, can't move, can't move, can't move, can't move. We're good. All those pins are in properly. Otherwise, your cases won't even seal properly. But I'm going to apply a thin bead of this Moto Seal to this case half, and we'll drop it on. We're going to take our bolts. They torque to 7.5 foot-pounds, and then a second torque of 15 foot-pounds. Okay, bottom end is together. Got the pistons on. We're going to lube up these cylinders with some 2-stroke oil. I just put it in the bore, put a little bit on the piston when I put them in the cylinders, just so it's nice and wet for a first start. My wife brought me snacks, so that's good. Yeah. We'll get these on, get the heads on, and probably see you back when this motor's all together. She's all back together. There we go. Just like that, motor's back in. Everything's all bolted up. Probably have to get a little bit of gas to shove down the cylinders to make this thing easier to start the first time. But give me a few minutes and we'll get this thing outside. I gotta head out to do a couple things, so I'll do that when I get back, but she's ready to fire. So I just yanked this thing out here. I haven't put gas down the cylinder or anything yet. I haven't tried pulling it, so I'm assuming it's probably gonna take a bunch of pulls to get it going, but let's just see what happens. I got no idea. All the carb settings will probably have to be changed too. The idle's set really low and everything, so Okay, well, it's kind of acting how it was before. I might have wasted my time with this. Oh boy. Okay, give me a minute. Let me play with this a bit. All right, it's the next day. Check this out. So I got to this little cab and I rented here. It's a little round tube. Kind of funky, man. But anyway, we got the exciter going. I played with it a bit yesterday. I was kind of crunched for time, so I didn't get it running perfect yet. But it's definitely running a lot better now. It actually idles and doesn't do any crazy stuff. But it's a little boggy when it's hot. So I haven't looked at that at all yet because I had to load this thing up just to be able to get here. But it does at least idle and not run away on you now. So it used to rev to the moon, as you saw before. And when it's hot, it does it a little more, but not like it was before. But I got the camera on the helmet and we're gonna go for a little cruise here. There's a nice lake right here, so I don't know where it goes or anything, but let's try it out. It didn't sound too happy when I was out there. It was doing weird things. I'm gonna check the plugs here and see what's going on. It also smells like I'm smoking that belt, but let's see here. Everything looks okay. All right, it's been like over a month since I filmed the last of that video, and got the exciter here. I've been driving it a bit, so I figured out that the problem is with the carb. I've cleaned this carb like 5 times. Ultrasonic cleaned it. I've bought different pilot jets to make the idle circuit super rich to try to bring that idle down. It still won't do it. I don't know at this point what's going on with that carb. The only thing I can think is the shaft of the butterfly, there's a butterfly inside because it doesn't use a typical round slide. The shaft that the butterfly rides on has seals in it. Maybe those are gone, sucking air. I don't know. I even spent the whole day and I Mikuni round slide swapped this with stuff I had laying around and had it completely running on a Mikuni round slide. And with the round slide, I can get this thing to idle perfectly. So I know it's not an air leak anywhere with the engine, any of the seals, any of that. It's not. It's with the carb. But with that round slide, the mid-range and the top end was kind of lacking, and I probably could have got it dialed in, but at that point I'd received the pilot jets for the factory carb, so I wanted to play with that, and then since then I haven't taken the factory carb back out of it. But there is something going on with that factory carb, and I don't know what. So maybe the next step's to try and find another used carb and hope it's good. I don't know. I'll check into those butterfly shaft seals. At this point, I'm not sure. But other than the higher idle, it actually runs really well now, which you'll see in the next video, because there'll be one coming hopefully next week for this. I just finished filming it today. and we do a top speed run on this thing. So you're gonna see what this thing does. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for now on the Exciter. If you got an Exciter carb you feel like sending over, send her my way. If you got Boyce and Reeds, because they make them for this thing, send those my way too. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment. Stay tuned for the next video, and have a nice day. Hey! Subscribe to the channel.